The bottle shattered against the brick wall of the alley behind O'Malley's, shards exploding like fireworks in the humid July night. And Thomas's fist throbbed from the impact, blood mixing with the cheap whiskey on his knuckles. "I'm not like that," he snarled into the darkness, his voice cracking like thunder over the distant wail of sirens, New York's eternal lullaby, but the lie tasted bitter on his tongue, sharper than the glass crunching under his boots. And then, from the shadows, a hand gripped his shoulder, warm and steady, pulling him back from the edge. "Hey! You okay?" That wasn't just the booze talking. Thomas stumbled out of the cab onto the cracked sidewalk of the Lower East Side, the neon buzz of dive bars and street vendors blurring into a kaleidoscope of regret. It was one of those sticky Manhattan summers where the air clung to your skin like a bad memory. And at 28, he was supposed to have it all figured out: steady job at the ad agency, a girlfriend named Sarah who'd stuck around since college, and a circle of bros who high-fived over craft beers and Knicks games. But tonight, after one too many shots of Jameson at O'Malley's, the facade had cracked wide open. He'd kissed a guy. Not just any guy, Alex, the bartender with the easy grin and ink-sleeved arms who'd poured his drinks with a wink that lingered too long. He was sloppy, desperate, born of liquid courage and a lifetime of buried questions. But it had happened, right there against the sticky bar counter after closing time. He'd bolted like a thief in the night, shoving through the back door into that alley, the shatter of the bottle his pathetic attempt at exorcism. But as the cab's taillights faded into the gridlock on Avenue B, Thomas leaned against the rusted fire escape of his walk-up, chest heaving, the metallic tang of blood from his split knuckle grounding him in the chaos. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Sarah? Probably wondering why he hadn't texted back after the guy's night excuse. Guilt twisted like a knife. But beneath it, something else stirred, a flicker of heat, unnameable and terrifying, replaying the press of Alex's stubble against his jaw. The low rumble of a laugh that vibrated through both of them. Inside his fourth-floor apartment, the AC wheezed like an old man, doing little to cut the humidity that fogged the windows overlooking the East River. Posters of Springsteen and faded Mets pennants cluttered the walls, relics of a boyhood in Jersey suburbs where fag was the worst slur you could hurl on the playground. Thomas stripped off his shirt, wincing at the mirror's reflection, broad shoulders from pickup basketball, a faint scar from a skateboarding wipeout at 16, eyes hollowed by the kind of exhaustion that sleep couldn't touch. He splashed water on his face in the sink, but it did nothing to wash away the phantom taste of whiskey and salt. Alex's mouth, tasting like spearmint gum and possibility. Sleep didn't come easy. He tossed on the lumpy futon, dreams fracturing into fragments, Sarah's soft curves under his hands at prom, her laughter light and forgiving, then Alex's calloused fingers tracing the line of his collarbone, a gaze that stripped him bare without a word. By dawn, the city was alive with garbage trucks and the sizzle of food carts, and Thomas dragged himself to the shower, scalding water pounding the confusion from his skin. Work waited, another pitch meeting at Sterling and Klein, where he'd nod along to focus groups and pretend his world wasn't tilting off its axis. The agency was a glass tower in Midtown, all sleek lines and overpriced coffee, the kind of place where ambition smelled like fresh ink and desperation. Thomas slumped into his cubicle, the fluorescent hum mocking his pounding headache. Emails piled up, revisions on the energy drink campaign, a reminder for the office happy hour. And there, buried in spam, text from an unknown number, Alex's? He knew it instinctively. You left this behind. And maybe something else? Come grab it if you want. No pressure. His thumb hovered, heart slamming like a bass drum. Delete. Fuck. But instead, he typed, "What did I leave?" The reply buzzed back almost instantly, "Your lighter." And your dignity? You looked good running. A winking emoji. The Gullies. Ate tonight. Beer's on me. Thomas's stomach flipped. He should say no, crawl back to Sarah, bury this under layers of normalcy. But the pull was magnetic, a current dragging him toward the unknown. By lunch, he'd canceled on the happy hour, claiming a migraine. Sarah called mid-afternoon, her voice bubbly over the line from her gallery job in Chelsea. "Babe, you sound off. Everything okay with the guys?" He lied smoothly, the words tumbling out like rehearsed lines. "Yeah. Just a long one." "Love you." The "love you" stuck in his throat, heavy as lead. Evening found him back at O'Malley's. The dive's scarred wooden bar, a confessional booth under dim Edison bulbs. The jukebox crooned Tom Waits, gravel-voiced tales of lost souls that mirrored his own. Alex was behind the counter, sleeves rolled up to reveal tattoos of crashing waves and a compass rose, symbols of direction. Thomas thought bitterly, when he had none. "The prodigal drunk returns," Alex said, sliding a pint of IPA his way, foam cresting like a wave. Up close, sober, Alex was even more disarming, late 20s, olive skin from some Italian-Irish mix, green eyes that crinkled at the corners with genuine warmth. No judgment in his gaze, just curiosity laced with something softer. They talked, or rather, Alex talked, drawing Thomas out like a reluctant witness. Grew up in Brooklyn. Bounced around foster homes after his folks split. Found bartending as a way to read people without getting too close. "It's like therapy, but with tips," he quipped, wiping down the bar. Thomas shared scraps, Jersey roots, the grind of ad life, Sarah as the good girl anchor. But the air thickened when Alex leaned in, voice dropping. "Last night. That wasn't nothing, was it? I mean, for me. Anyway." Thomas's grip tightened on his glass, knuckles whitening. "I don't know what that was. I'm not. I've got a girlfriend. I'm straight. Or I thought I was." The words hung there, raw and exposed, the bar's murmur fading to a distant hum. Alex nodded. No push. Just a quiet, fair. But labels are bullshit sometimes. What if it's not about straight or gay, but just you? The conversation veered safer. Favorite dive spots? The Mets' latest choke, but the undercurrent hummed. Electric. By last call, Thomas was buzzed again. Not tipsy enough to forget, but loose enough to linger. The street pulsed with late-night wanderers, cabs honking, a drag queen hawking laughs from the corner. Alex walked him to the subway at Union Square, shoulder brushing shoulder in the crowd. "This doesn't have to be weird," Alex said, halting under a street lamp's sodium glow. "But if you want to figure it out, I'm here." Their goodbye was a handshake that lingered, fingers intertwining for a beat too long, eyes locking in silent question. Thomas rode the rattling 6 train home, the city's veins carrying him through tunnels of doubt. Sarah was asleep when he slipped in, Her blonde hair splayed on the pillow like a halo he no longer deserved. He watched her breathe. The rise and fall a rhythm he'd memorized. But tonight it felt foreign. A song out of key. Days blurred into a fever dream. Work became a haze of deadlines and forced smiles. Sarah's touches, her hand on his thigh during movie night. Lips brushing his neck in the kitchen, stirring guilt more than fire. He'd catch himself staring at men on the street, the barista with the veined forearms, the jogger in Central Park whose stride matched some buried rhythm in his chest. Alex's texts came sporadic, light, memes about bad dates, a photo of a sunset over the Brooklyn Bridge. No pressure. But each ping was a hook, reeling him closer. It culminated on a rainy Thursday, the kind of downpour that turned Manhattan into a watercolor smear. Sarah was at an opening in Soho, leaving Thomas alone with a six-pack and the flat-screen droning NBA highlights. His phone lit up, stuck in this shitstorm. "Your place nearby? Alex." Heart racing. Thomas typed back, "Doors open." For B. The knock came 20 minutes later. Alex dripping on the welcome mat. Hair plastered dark. A sheepish grin cutting through the wet. "Mind if I dry off? Bridge is a bitch in this." Thomas tossed him a towel. Their fingers brushing, sparks. Undeniable. They cracked beers on the couch. The game forgotten as stories spilled. Alex's first heartbreak with a guy in college. The closet he'd kicked open at 22. Thomas's whispers of confusion. The straight armor forged in high school locker rooms where vulnerability was weakness. The rain hammered the windows like applause for their confessions. "I can't stop thinking about that kiss," Thomas admitted. Voice rough. Eyes fixed on the coffee table scarred from too many late nights. Alex set his bottle down, shifting closer, the couch dipping under his weight. "Me neither. But only if you want." The rest drowned in action. Thomas's hand cupping Alex's neck, pulling him in, mouths crashing with the pent-up force of denial. It was hungrier than the bar. Deliberate, tongues exploring, hands roaming under damp shirts. The scrape of belt buckles a symphony of surrender. They moved to the bedroom in a tangle, shedding clothes like old skin, bodies slotting together with a rightness that terrified Thomas. Alex's touch was reverent, mapping freckles and scars with lips and fingers, drawing gasps Thomas didn't know he could make. It was messy, fervent, sweat-slick skin, whispered names like prayers, the creak of the bed frame echoing their unraveling. Afterward, spent and tangled in sheets that smelled of laundry detergent and revelation, Alex traced lazy circles on Thomas's chest. "This changes things," he murmured. "Not a question." "Yeah," Thomas breathed, staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines in his soul. Dawn crept in gray, and with it, the crash of reality. Sarah's key turned in the lock at 7 a.m. Her honey, "I'm home early," slicing through the afterglow like shrapnel. Panic surged. Alex bolted to the bathroom. Thomas yanking on boxers and a tee. Heart jackhammering as Sarah breezed in with takeout bags. Oblivious. "Missed you last night." Brought bagels. Her kiss landed on his cheek, tasting like betrayal. He mumbled excuses, old college buddy crashing after drinks, while Alex emerged, feigning a yawn, playing the stranger with Oscar-worthy ease. "Hey, I'm Alex. Thomas saved my ass from the rain. Sarah bought it? Charming as ever. Even offering coffee." The morning dragged in excruciating politeness, Small talk over lox and cream cheese. Laughter that grated like sandpaper. Alex left with a nod, his eyes promising later, and Thomas walked Sarah to the door, kissing her goodbye with mechanical precision. Blown. He sank to the floor, head in hands, the high of the night curdling into dread. When out, lie forever? Confess and shatter? The lie held for a week, a fragile dam against the flood. Stolen moments with Alex became addiction, quick coffees in hidden cafes off Washington Square, hands brushing under tables, late-night walks along the High Line, where the city's pulse synced with their own. Alex was sunlight after storm, funny, grounded, with a way of making Thomas feel seen, not dissected. "You're not broken, you know," he'd say, lacing fingers during a matinee at an indie theater in the village. "Just figuring out the map." But Sarah sensed the shift, her questions sharpening like knives. "You've been distant." "Is it work?" Gil nod. But so did desire, a war raging in his ribs. The breaking point came at a rooftop party in Williamsburg, one of those hipster bashes with fairy lights and craft cocktails. Sarah's art crowd mingling with Thomas's ad bros. Alex was there, invited by a mutual friend. Fate's cruel joke, leaning against the railing. City skyline sprawling behind him like a promise. Thomas spotted him across the throng, that magnetic pull yanking him through laughter and clinking glasses. They stole to a shadowed corner, lips meeting in a kiss that tasted of gin and goodbye. "We can't keep this up," Thomas whispered, even as his hands fisted Alex's shirt. "Sarah." Alex pulled back, eyes stormy. "Then choose." "Thomas." "Hiding's killing us both." The words ignited the fuse. Sarah found them minutes later, her gasp a gunshot in the night. "Tom? What the? Who is he?" The rooftop spun into chaos, accusations flying, guests averting eyes like co-conspirators in a bad soap opera. Thomas's world imploded, Sarah's tears carving rivers down her face. Alex's quiet exit into the elevator, a ghost vanishing. "I trusted you," she sobbed, slapping his chest. "All those nights. Good. Was it always this?" He chased her down the stairs, Brooklyn Bridge lights blurring through rain-streaked windows. Begging in the cab, it wasn't planned. "I love you. But I don't know who I am anymore." She shoved him out at her place, door slamming like finality. "Figure it out without me." Thomas wandered the streets, the city's indifference a bomb and a curse. He crashed at Alex's cramped Bushwick loft, a converted warehouse with exposed brick and vinyl records stacked like towers of Babel. They didn't speak of the fallout that night, just bodies seeking solace. Sex a temporary suture on wounds too fresh. But morning brought the reckoning, voicemails from Sarah. Venomous and heartbroken, texts from friends. Whispers turning to shouts. "Dude. What the hell? You're one of them now." The backlash hit like a tidal wave. The work. Sidelong glances from colleagues. The boss pulling him aside with a personal matter, talk laced with homophobic barbs disguised as concern. His brother from Jersey called. Voice thick with beer and bigotry. "Dad raised you better than this fairy shit?" "Tommy." Isolation crept in. Cold fog. But Alex was anchor, cooking pasta in a too-small kitchen, dragging him to queer open mics in the East Village where stories of coming out echoed his own. Yet doubt festered. One night, after a bar fight where some frat boy slurred, "faggot," and Thomas's fist answered. He lashed out at Alex, "This is your fault. pushing me into this mess. The words were poison, born of fear. And Alex's flinch was a mirror to his shame. I'm not pushing. I'm here. But if you want out. He trailed off, door clicking shut behind him. Alone in the loft, Thomas shattered, plates hurled, sobs racking his frame until neighbors banged on walls. He called Sarah at 3 a.m. Voicemail, her only reply, "I hate you for making me love a lie." Despair peaked in a bottle of bourbon. The edge of the fire escape calling like a siren's song. Hudson River below, a black ribbon of oblivion. But dawn broke with a text from Alex, "Not giving up on you." Coffee? Simple. Steadfast. They met at a greasy spoon in Bed-Stuy, booths sticky with history, and words poured, apologies, fierce. The raw truth of a man remaking himself. "I'm scared shitless," Thomas admitted. Coffee cooling untouched. "But losing you. That's worse." Reconciliation was tentative, therapy sessions in a cramped office off Times Square, where a no-nonsense counselor unpacked the knots of shame. Sarah's healing came slow. They met once, civil over coffee in Bryant Park. Her eyes softer but scarred. "I wish you the best." Really? Be honest next time. Forgiveness. Not absolution, but enough to breathe. Months folded into seasons. New York's relentless churn mirroring Thomas's. He quit the agency for a freelance gig, trading pitches for passion projects, ads for LGBTQ+ nonprofits. Stories that mattered. Alex moved in. Their life a tapestry of small joys, brunches at Clinton Street baking, lazy Sundays in Prospect Park, arguments over dishes dissolving into laughter. One crisp October evening, atop the Empire State, city lights winking like conspirators, Thomas dropped to one knee, not a ring, but a promise etched in a leather journal, entries of his journey, from denial to dawn. "I was straight once," he said, voice steady against the wind. "But you showed me I'm just. With you." Alex pulled him up, kiss sealing it under the stars. A vow whispered into the skyline. Life didn't tidy into bows, prejudices lingered. Doubts whispered in quiet hours, but in the mess, they built something human, unapologetic and alive. Thomas, once sworn to straight lines, now walked the curves of truth, hand in hand, the American dream rewritten in shades of gray and gold. The journal's pages fluttered in the updraft from the observatory deck, nearly escaping into the void below. But Alex's quick grab saved them, his laugh a rumble against Thomas's ear. "Careful, poet. Can't lose your manifesto to the tourists." They descended in the elevator, shoulders bumping in the crush of couples and families, the metallic tang of the city air clinging to their coats. Back on Fifth Avenue, the walk to the subway was a gauntlet of holiday lights already twinkling prematurely, November's chill nipping at exposed skin. Vendors hawking roasted chestnuts that perfumed the air like nostalgia. Thomas's hand in Alex's felt both revolutionary and routine, a quiet defiance amid the bustle. "Think she'll read it?" he asked, mind drifting to Sarah, whose last email had been a tentative olive branch, an invite to her new exhibit. Fractured Frames, opening next week. Alex squeezed his fingers. "If she wants to." But this, he tapped the journal tucked under Thomas's arm, "that's for us. The rest? Bonus round." Their apartment in Bushwick had become a sanctuary, walls evolving from bare brick to a collage of memories, A framed photo from their first Pride parade. Rain-soaked and euphoric, shelves groaning under dog-eared Kerouac and Baldwin. Spines cracked from late-night debates. That night, over takeout Thai from the spot on Knickerbocker, they planned the exhibit visit like a minefield negotiation. Neutral ground, Thomas said. Chopsticks spearing a basil leaf. No drama. Just support. But drama had a way of ambushing. New York style. The gallery in Chelsea was a white box wonderland. Stark walls amplifying whispers and the clink of wine glasses. Sarah's work hung like confessions, abstract oils of splintered mirrors and shadowed silhouettes. Titles like Echoes Unheard and The Lie We Lived. Thomas lingered before one, a stormy seascape where waves crashed into fractured glass, feeling the artist's gaze before he saw her. Tom, Sarah approached, elegant in a black sheath, hair pinned in loose waves, her smile a tightrope walk between warmth and wariness. Ugh. Just a nod to Alex. Good to see you again. Under better circumstances, Alex's charm disarmed. As always, your stuff's killer. Makes me feel seen and gut-punched. Best combo. They chatted art, her influences from Rothko to contemporary queer photographers, tension easing into something almost companionable. Then, a shadow fell. Mark? Sarah's ex from art school? Now, just a friend, with wandering eyes and a Scotch neat. He'd cornered Thomas by the charcuterie spread. Breath hot with booze, heard you went rainbow. Ballsy. But Sarah? She deserved better than your midlife crisis. The words landed like punches, dredging up the rooftop's venom. Thomas's jaw clenched, vision tunneling, but Alex materialized, arms slipping around his waist. Easy, buddy. Night's too good for assholes. Mark slunk off, but the poison lingered, souring the afterglow. Rain slicked the streets, cabs splashing gutters like applause. Sarah caught them at the curb, umbrella blooming like a shield. Ignore him. He's bitter about everything. The pause. Then, I'm glad you're happy. Took guts. Her eyes held no recrimination, just the quiet ache of what was lost. They parted with cheek kisses, the city swallowing her into the night. Back home, the encounter unspooled over herbal tea, Alex's brew. Chamomile to soothe the edges. You did good, he said. Feet tangled with Thomas's under the table. Proud of you, Jersey boy. But sleep brought dreams of mirrors shattering. Sarah's face morphing into his own. Accusatory and pleading. Morning found Thomas at the kitchen window. Coffee steaming. Watching snow dust the rooftops, a rare white blanket over Brooklyn's grit. Work had shifted gears. Freelance meant freedom, but also feast or famine hustles. His latest gig, a campaign for the Ali Forney Center, shelter for LGBTQ+ youth kicked out by families who couldn't compute. Interviews with kids, teens with haunted eyes and tattooed resolve, mirrored his fractures. Their stories fuel for ads that punched above their weight, billboards in Times Square showing hands bridging divides. Taglines like, home isn't a place, it's acceptance. One interview stuck. Jamie? Non-binary. From Ohio Flatlands, who'd hitchhiked to the city with a backpack and a Bible his dad had burned. Thought God hated me, Jamie said, voice steady over the din of the center's rec room. Turns out, he just loaned me to folks who didn't get the memo. Thomas's throat tightened, pen pausing mid-note. How'd you keep going? Jamie shrugged. Smile wry, found my people. And weed. Mostly my people. The piece aired online. Going viral in queer feeds, shares from influencers, op-eds in The Advocate praising its raw humanity. But success bred scrutiny, trolls flooded comments with slurs, death threats pinging his inbox like shrapnel. One night, scrolling in bed while Alex snored softly beside him, Thomas's resolve cracked. What if they're right? What if this is just attention-seeking bullshit? Alex stirred, pulling him close. Voice sleep rough. Nah. This is you? Fighting the ghosts so kids like Jamie don't have to alone. That's not bullshit, that's brave as hell. His kiss was anchor. Grounding. Bodies aligning in the dark like puzzle pieces finally clicked. Winter deepened. Holidays a minefield of family calls. Thomas's parents in Jersey sent a fruitcake laced with passive questions. Seeing anyone special? That girl Sarah? He dodged with half-truths. The Straits' son, script chafing like wool. Christmas Eve. They drove the turnpike. Snow whipping the windshield. Alex shotgun with a thermos of spiked cider. Operation, meet the folks, he joked. But tension hummed. The house in Edison was a time capsule, faded wallpaper. Nat King Cole on vinyl. Mom's lasagna bubbling in Pyrex. Dad clapped Thomas on the back too hard. Eyes skittish around Alex. New roommate. City's expensive. Mom fussed over plates. Her smile faltering at intertwined fingers under the table. Dinner tiptoed around landmines, politics, sports, until dessert. When Dad's scotch loosened tongues. Heard about your ads. Son. Oh, yes. But you sure this phase ain't passing? Got grandkids in mind. The room iced over. Thomas's fork clattered. Pulse roaring. Phase? This is me. Alex isn't a phase, he's my life. Silence stretched. Mom's eyes welling. Dad's face reddening into bluster. We raised you normal. Tommy. Church every Sunday. No funny business. Alex's hand on his knee steadied. But fury boiled. Normal? Hiding who I am for 30 years was normal? Screw that. He stormed out to the driveway. Breath fogging in the cold. Stars sharp overhead. Alex followed. Coatless. Wrapping arms around him from behind. Breathe. They love you, clumsy as it is. Inside. Voices rose then fell. Mom emerged with pie. Tears carving tracks. We just want you happy. Forgive old fools. Dad grunted apology over eggnog. Gruff, if he treats you right, that's what counts. It wasn't rainbow flags and hugs, but a crack in the door, progress. American as apple pie and awkward amends. New Year's dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered over hangover brunches. Thomas vowed honesty. No more closets, Alex. More patience with his Jersey stubbornness. They rang in the year at a queer ball in the meatpacking district, drag queens lip-syncing Gaga. Confetti raining like blessings. On the dance floor, sweat slick and euphoric, Thomas spun Alex under strobe lights, the bass thumping like reborn heartbeat. To us, he toasted with a stolen flute of champagne. Straight lines be damned. Spring unfurled tentative. Cherry blossoms dusting the paths of the Botanic Garden in Brooklyn, where they picnicked amid tulips nodding like conspirators. Thomas's freelance bloomed too, a book deal for a memoir. Bent but not broken, essays weaving his arc from denial to defiance. Publishers loved the everyman angle, straight-passing guy gone authentic. A bridge for the bro dudes dipping toes in curiosity. But bridges burn easy. Enter Ryan, old college wingman from Rutgers, crashing in from Philly for a Knicks game. Beers at the Dead Rabbit flowed, nostalgia thick as the peat smoke. Miss the old days. Fix? Parties. No complications, Ryan slurred, arms slung heavy. Thomas laughed it off. But Ryan's eyes sharpened over the foam, heard whispers. That bartender dude? Come on. Bro. Experimenting's one thing, but full switch? You'll regret it when the novelty fades. The words festered. Doubt's old friend. That night, post-game haze, Thomas ghosted Alex's texts, crashing solo at a hotel bar in Midtown, drowning questions in rye. Ryan's call came at dawn. See? Knew you'd crack. Ditch the fairy tale, Sarah single. You know. Betrayal twisted. Not just Ryan's poison, but Thomas's weakness. The pullback to safe shores. He confessed over breakfast at a diner off Canal. Alex's face paling over pancakes. I didn't cheat. I swear. Panicked. Like I'm still that scared kid. Alex's fork paused. Eyes searching, we all panic. But running? That's the betrayal. The fight spilled raw, accusations of emotional sabotage. Fears of unworthiness, culminating in slammed doors. Thomas fleeing to Central Park's greening lawns. Bench sitting amid joggers and dogwalkers. Soul adrift. Hours later, Alex found him, coffee in hand, sitting cross-legged on the grass like a prodigal. Couldn't let you bench press this alone. No lectures. Just space to unpack Ryan's toxicity as symptom. Not cause, Thomas's growth as marathon. Not sprint. They walked the loop. Hands brushing tentative. Reconciliation in the rustle of leaves. A kiss under the bow bridge. Tentative then fierce. Sealing fractures with forgiveness. Summer scorched back. Humidity a lover's breath. And with it, the memoir's launch at a bookstore in the West Village. Shelves groaned under hard covers. Wine flowed. Friends mingled, queer allies. Straight skeptics. Sarah in the corner with a proud nod. Readings trembled Thomas's voice, excerpts of The Alley shatter. The rooftop ruin. Alex's hand as lifeline. Applause thundered, but eyes locked on Alex in the front row. Green gaze steady, you did this. Postparty. Rooftop of their building. City humming below like a lullaby. They made love under stars smudged by light pollution. Slow. Sacred. Bodies a testament to survival. Everything changed that night, Thomas murmured. Fingers tracing Alex's tattooed compass. And I'd shatter 1,000 bottles to get here. Alex smiled. That crinkle-eyed warmth, no more breaking. Just building. Dawn painted them gold. New York's eternal promise, messy. Magnificent. Unyieldingly human. The launch's buzz lingered like summer static. Interviews piling up, podcasts from queer media hubs in Bushwick. Features in Out magazine framing Thomas as the accidental activist. But fame's glow cast long shadows. Paparazzi snaps outside the bookstore caught him and Alex mid-laugh. Headlines twisting. Ad man comes out, but is it marketing? Trolls escalated. Doxing his Jersey family. Mom's tearful call a gut punch. Honey. They're saying awful things. You okay? He soothed her with half-truths. But the siege wore thin. Sleep fractured by phantom knocks. Alex bore it with bartender grit. Shifts at O'Malley's now legendary, the Tipsy Night, tale a bar myth. Patrons toasting the couple with shots. "You're my North Star," Thomas told him one sticky evening, leaning over the counter as last call echoed. Alex's wink cut the tension, "And you're the storm that blew me in. Wouldn't trade it." But privately, cracks showed Alex's freelance graphic design gigs drying up. Whispers from clients wary of the gay boyfriend baggage. "It's nothing," he'd shrug. But Thomas saw the late-night scrolls on job boards, the quiet frustration etching lines around his eyes. Their first real test came in August. A wedding invite from Thomas's cousin in Asbury Park, beachside affair. Family flock descending. "Bring the +1, the card read. Innocuous but loaded. Road trip down the shore felt like pilgrimage, windows down. Bruce Springsteen blasting Thunder Road, salt air whipping doubts. The motel was kitsch, neon palms. Bedspreads floral as grandma's couch, but the rehearsal dinner crackled with undercurrents. Aunt Linda air-kissed Alex, such a nice friend, emphasis dripping condescension. Uncle Ray, red-faced from Clam's casino, cornered Thomas by the bar, "Boy. Loves love. But kids? Bloodline matters." The words landed like Jersey punches. Casual bigotry wrapped in concern. Thomas's retort burned, "Bloodline? Mine's queer as hell, deal with it." Alex diffused with charm, toasting the bride with wit that drew laughs. But the night ended in tense silence. Waves crashing outside like unspoken arguments. The ceremony dawned golden. Ocean backdrop framing vows that echoed too close, promises of forever amid fragility. Thomas stood best man, Arnie thick, his speech weaving humor with heart. "Family's not blood, it's the ones who show up." Storms and all. Eyes glistened. Claps rippled. But Dad's nod from the groom's side was stiff. Progress glacial. Reception danced on sands. Bare feet in dunes. Alex pulling Thomas into a slow sway to Wonderwall, whispers hot against neck. "You're killing it." "My hero." Fireworks burst over the breakers. But betrayal brewed inland. Brian, that snake from Philly, had wormed an invite via mutuals, schmoozing the bar with craft IPAs. Eyes gleaming predatory. He sidled up during cake cutting. Breath boozy, "Still playing house? Bet it's fun, till it's not." Thomas brushed him off. But Ryan's parting shot via text later, photo of Sarah at a bar. Caption, "Missed opportunity?" Ignited paranoia. Was it sabotage? Old flames fanned? Back in the city? The seed sprouted weeds. Thomas's paranoia bloomed, snapping at Alex over forgotten chores, accusing silences of secrets. "You're pulling away, jobs tanking. Us next." One blistering fight in the loft. Pots clanging like cymbals. "This is what they warned me about, queer drama." Endless mess. Alex's face crumpled. Voice steel, "Or maybe it's your ghosts. Not my reality. I can't fight shadows forever." He stormed out. Door echoing finality, leaving Thomas in the wreckage, shattered mug mirroring his fracture. Hours blurred into regret, calls went to voicemail. Streets swallowed Alex's trail. Dawn found Thomas at O'Malley's, empty at pre-dawn, pounding on the back door until the owner, Grizzled Mick, cracked it. "Kid. He's crashing with his sister in Queens. Give him space, loves a marathon, not a sprint." The week was purgatory, solo shifts at freelance desks in coffee shops. Central Park benches for soul-searching. Therapy doubled to unpack the panic. "Counselor, A wry dyke named Elena with silver streaks and zero bullshit. Prodded. Betrayal's your boogeyman. Thomas. Ryan's just the mask, what's under it? Childhood flashes, dad's golf buddies joking, no sons of mine, the locker room taunts that armored him young. Fear of losing the straight safety net, he admitted. Tears hot. But Alex is the net now. Reaching out was raw, a letter, handwritten on loft stationery. No emojis or excuses, just truth spilled like ink. I projected my fears onto you because loving you means risking everything. And I'd risk it all again. Come home. Delivered via Mick. It waited on the bar like a gauntlet. Alex returned at dusk. Duffel slung. Eyes wary but softening at the sight of Thomas, aproned in the kitchen. Attempting lasagna from Mom's recipe. Sauce splattered like war paint. Smells like surrender, Alex quipped. But his hug was fierce. Bodies sagging into relief. Over dinner. Apologies layered like pasta sheets. Thomas owning his triggers. Alex admitting burnout's bite. We're in the shit together, Alex said. Fork twirling noodles. No solo exits. Fall's palette shifted. Leaves carpeting sidewalks in crimson confession. The memoir hit shelves nationwide. Tours pulling Thomas to Chicago. San Fran. Panels with queer icons. QAna's dissecting denials dance. In the Castro. Amid rainbow flags whipping in bay winds. A fan approached, young guy. Clutching the book. Your alley story? That's me last week. Thanks for the map. Thomas's throat closed. Alex's hand on his back a silent sea, but Holmes' pull tugged strongest. Halloween in the village. Costumes as Springsteen and Clarence Clemens. Horns blasting born to run down bleary streets. They partied till dawn. Candy corn and condoms littering the loft. Waking to pumpkin spice hangovers and lazy fucks amid tangled sheets. Thanksgiving tested rebuilt bridges. Jersey again? But this time with strategy. Mom's invite explicit, Alex too. Please, Dad's gruff addition, bring the pie. The drive hummed with podcasts on queer history. Nerves eased by banter. Table groaned under turkey and fixings. Family orbiting cautious, cousins' kids gawking at Alex's tattoos. Aunt Linda's questions veiled in curiosity rather than claws. Conversation veered to the book. Dad clearing throat, read it. Tough stuff. Son. Though, guts like your old man. The admission hung. Beer clinking toasts. Mom's pie a sweet cap. No utopias. But threads weaving tighter, acceptance's slow stitch. December deepened. Holidays glow masking undercurrents. Alex's birthday, intimate dinner at Gramercy Tavern. Then ice skating at Bryant Park, glides tentative. Falls into laughter. Hot cocoa steaming confessions. 30, Alex mused. Blades scraping ice. Feels like starting over with you. Thomas pulled him close. Spin dizzying, best plot twist ever. But twists lurked. New Year's Eve. Times Square's chaos called, a bucket list bucket of neon and nerves. Confetti cannons primed. Ball dropping like fate's cue. But amid the crush, a pickpocket's swipe nicked Alex's wallet, ID. Cards. The compass locket from his mom. Panic surged. NYPD lines snaking endless. Resolutions cheers souring to frustration. Back in the cab. Manhattan's arteries pulsing. Alex deflated, silly to care, it's just stuff. But Thomas saw the anchor lost. Vowed replacement hunts. It sparked deeper, Estate cleanouts at Alex's late aunt's in Staten Island. Boxes unearthing relics. Faded photos of foster kid Alex. Gap-toothed and guarded. Letters from a brother estranged by distance. Family's a crapshoot, Alex said. Sifting yellowed paper. But we make our own. They did, adopting a rescue mutt named Whiskey. For like alley shadows? Tail-wagging redemption. Training mishaps in Prospect Park, leashes tangling. Squirrels hunting. Bonds forging in chaos. Valentine's crepe velvet. City saccharine with hearts and hype. Thomas planned low-key, picnic in the conservatory at the Brooklyn Museum. Sculptures silent witnesses to toasts with Rose. To tipsy nights and sober days, he clinked. But surprise waited, a custom tattoo appointment. Compass rose inked on his rib. Needles bite a vow etched permanent. Alex's eyes misted. Fingers tracing fresh lines, you're insane. And perfect. Love-making followed in the loft. Candlelit and languid. Bodies him to healing. Spring's thaw brought renewal, Sarah's wedding announcement. A summer affair in the Hamptons, invite enclosed. Friends forever? Thomas RSVP'd yes. Alex in tow. Closure's gift. The ceremony was sun-drenched. Vows blooming amid dunes. Her groom a quiet artist with kind eyes. Reception toasts skirted scars. Dances light, Sarah pulling Thomas aside. Happier than I've ever seen you. Keep it. Summer solstice marked a year since the alley shatter. O'Malley's bash, Mick toasting, the night that sparked magic, shots slammed. Jukebox wailing petties, free Fallon. Thomas cornered Alex by the back door. Ghosts exorcised, everything changed here. Thank you for catching me. Alex's grin flashed, always will. Kiss deepened. Bars roar fading to intimate thunder. But autumn whispered warnings. Thomas's book tour extended. Austin, leaving Alex to solo shifts. Distance fraying threads. Calls crackled with static. Texts delayed by time zones. Texts. A flirty panelist, charming podcaster with drawl and dimples, tested waters. Dinner veering suggestive. Thomas shut it down. Guilt gnawing, not again. Homebound flight. He confessed over airport whiskey, flirted with fire. Stupid. Alex's silence stretched oceanic. Then, trusts earned daily. Don't make me doubt. The talk rebuilt. Boundaries redrawn, no solos in storm. Winter's grip tightened. Holidays hybrid, Jersey for Christmas. City for Hanukkah lax with Alex's chosen fam. Resolutions rooted deep, therapy couple sessions. Vulnerabilities vow. One snowbound night. Power out. Loft candlelit. Whiskey snoring by the hearth. Thomas knelt again, not journal, but ring, simple band. Tungsten tough. Marry me? In the magic, all of it. Alex's yes shattered sweet. Embrace eternal. Dawn snowed blessings. New York's heartbeat sinking theirs, love. Labored and luminous. A gay American odyssey. The proposal's afterglow lingered through blizzards. City paralyzed in white hush. But their world spun vibrant. Planning wedded whimsy to grit, ceremony at the Stonewall Inn. Vows amid history's ghosts, reception a potluck in the loft. Friends dishes a mosaic of loves. Invites winged out, Jersey kin tentative yes. Sarah's RSVP with confetti note, dancing shoes on. Spring burgeoned. Cherry petals confetti for walks. But health's shadow loomed. Alex's cough started innocuous, Post-shift hacks blamed on smoke, but persisted, dragging him to a clinic in Flatbush. Diagnosis dropped like a bomb: early-stage lung cancer, caught from secondhand bar haze. Treatable but tenacious. "Fuck," Alex rasped. Doctor's office sterile as fear. Thomas gripped his hand. "Knuckles bone weight, we'll fight." Together. Chemo's rhythm invaded, infusions in chilly rooms. Alex's bravado cracking over ginger tea. "Bald looks good on me." "Right." Thomas's laughs hid terror. Nights cradling him through nausea, whispering Springsteen lyrics like spells. Work sidelined. Freelance funneled to medical bills. GoFundMe surging from queer networks, donations with notes: "Your story saved me, let us save you." Family rallied uneven. Mom's care packages of homemade soup. Dad's awkward hospital visits. Grip firm, strong like your ma. Sarah sent art, abstract hope in blues and golds, visiting with takeout. Her presence bomb: "He's a fighter." "Like you." Summer sweltered defiant. Treatments tapering. Scans whispering remission. They escaped to Fire Island Pines. Queer haven of dunes and discos, rented cottage pine-scented. Days beach lounging. Nights fire-pitted with stories. "Cancer's the plot twist I didn't script," Alex joked. Toes in surf. Thomas traced his regrowing stubble, "But we're the heroes." Always. Wedding week dawned electric. Rehearsal at Stonewall, bar transformed. Rainbow banners fluttering. Mick officiating with brogue thick. Vows raw, Thomas's from straight-laced to soul-bared. "You unchained me," Alex's, "Tipsy spark to forever flame, you're my compass true." Rings exchanged. Cheers erupted. Tears salting kisses. Reception overflowed loft. Tables groaning Pyragus from Alex's, "Auntie," ribs from Ryan's redemption invite, swallowed pride. Genuine toast. Dances devolved joyous, conga lines to slow sways to at last. Sarah cornered Thomas. Eyes bright, full circle. Beautiful. Honeymoon skimped but splendid. Road trip upstate. Cabin by Letchworth's gorges. Hikes hand in hand. Nights stargazing vows renewed. Everything changed that night, Thomas murmured. Fire crackling. Grateful for the shatter. Back in the grind. Normalcy nested, Alex's design studio launch. Tattoos for tots, Thomas's sequel brewing. Shades of Us. Whiskey pup grew. Chaos companion. Conflicts cropped minor, fights over socks. Laughs over spills, but roots deepened. Anniversary 1, O'Malley's pilgrimage. Corner booth sacred. Shot slammed. Alex's toast, to straight swears and gay truths. Laughter bubbled. Kiss ceiling saga. Years layered like city strata. 30s hit, Thomas's TEDx on coming out's cost. Applause thunderous, Alex's gallery show. Ink alive on canvas. Family bloomed, nephews calling Uncle T and Jersey Thanksgiving's tradition. Trials tempered, 2020's plague locked them in. Baking sourdough. Zoom toasts to resilience. Protests pulsed outside. Black Lives Matter banners in windows, allyship active. Donations directed. Mid-40s, adoption whispers. Fostering a teen like young Alex. Jamie from the center. Now kin. Family remix. He grinned. Bunk beds built. 60s loomed eventual. Silver threading hair. But love's fire unquenched, travels to Provincetown. Hands wrinkled intertwined. One twilight walk. High line rails gripping. Thomas reflected, Swore I was straight, tipsy lie. But you changed everything to truth. Alex leaned, sunset gilding, and I'd tipsy it all again. Human as hell. Babe. New York thrummed below. Eternal witness. Drama. Emotion. Romance woven human, gay story American. Unbroken.